very good morning class. We are dealing with the chapter Life Under the Mauryas, chapter number 8. And we have already seen the administration planning of the Mauryans. How was the administration system divided into central administration and provincial administration. Today our topic would be, today we will discuss about the capital city or the capital of the Mauryans, that is Patliputra. The current name of Patliputra is Patna, the capital of Bihar, was once the capital of the Mauryans. Kumrar is the place wherein the capital city was situated. The Mauryan court was located at Kumrar near Patna. This was the heart, what was known as Patliputra, the capital city. It was hard because it was in the northern base and on the bank of the river Ganga. As a result of it, the lands near to the capital city was very fertile, and which turned out to be a great source of income, great source of revenue for the Mauryans. Megasthenes was very impressed with the grandeur of the city and the efficiency of administration. When Megasthenes came to India, he wrote down in his book Indica. He was surprised, he was impressed by the beauty and the management of the administration which was done by the Mauryans. The Mauryans had a large troop, but they maintained in the most efficient manner. Patliputra was situated on the banks of the Ganga. It was defended by deep moat all around. Moat is a ditch or a pit with surroundings where the walls were constructed, and it was laid down on a pillars. The historians say that near about 570 towers were there and 64 gates were made for different purposes. Now, different gates were used for different purposes. Like for example, the gates were distributed. The gates were distributed wherein the army would walk in, the Senapati would walk in, the king would come in, the travelers would come in. For all the purposes, different gates were categorized. Most of the houses were built of wood. Since it was laid down on a pillar, the houses were constructed of wood only. Wooden houses were constructed, and that had no danger of flood or such things. At Kumrar, we can still see the remains of 80-pillared assembly hall and the wooden beams. At Kumrar, there is a hall which is used for the seminar purpose or for the meeting purpose, which is of 80-pillared halls. Means 80 pillars are there and big beams of the wooden are still found over there. City administration. How was the city administered during the Mauryans? Patliputra and other cities like Kaushambi, Ujjain and Taxila were administered on a similar pattern. The cities were divided into 4 parts, each under an official. Now the whole city was divided into 4 different parts, and for each part there was an official appointed who further subcategorized into 6 different parts. The mayor or this Nagrika was the head of the city. He used to take care, he used to maintain the law and order, peace in the city. The administration was run by 6 boards. Each board had 5 members or commissioner. Under each board there were 5 members or the commissioners who used to report to the king. Each board looked after different departments, namely industries, foreigner matters relating to records of births and deaths, sanitation, weights and measures, and public utilities. Now, different departments were distributed on the basis of which the works were carried on, and they were to report to the mayor of the city. The mayor used to report to the king. The Mauryans had a big army. The Mauryan Empire was very vast and could be administered well only with the help of a disciplined army and a good network of spies. So, when the foreign travelers came to India, they were astonished, they were surprised, they were impressed by such a big troop system, that too which was maintained in the most efficient manner. The soldiers received high and regular salaries. They were paid highly That is why they survived, and they were always ready to do anything for the king. They were armed with swords, bows, arrows, and spears. Whatever modern means of equipments or weapons were there, those things were made available to the army. And the army head was Senapati, who used to directly report to the king. Whatever the king used to frame, whatever the king used to plan, and that was to be implemented by the Senapati. A result of it to be shared by the king. There were also a large number of elephants in the army. The Senapati was the head of the armed forces and reported only to the king. There were a large number of elephants and horses. In order to have a war during that time, the elephants and the horses were required, the army was required, and that too in the most efficient manner. The army too was administered by 6 boards of 5 members each. The Senapati had appointed 6 board members who under them had distributed the powers to different 5 members. Each board was in charge of a particular branch of the army. Cavalry, that is horsemen, infantry, foot soldiers, chariots, elephants, and navy. These were 5 groups who were known as, like today we have the 4 systems of the armies, wherein the armed forces, air force, and the navy. 3 types of there, where the defense or the safety of the country is taken care of. In earlier days, or in the ancient days, or in the modern days, there were 5 different systems were distributed, on which the powers were given to them. A spy system was the most important part of the Mauryan army. They had appointed a special person who used to spy on the neighboring countries, neighboring states, or the neighboring cities, and they used to have a close eye on the opponent about their activities, about their movement, so that it would have give a better idea to the king how to plan and in which way to plan. Welfare measures. A king in history cannot be renowned, cannot be known if he does not do anything for his subjects. So the Mauryans are renowned, or Mauryans are known today because they have done a lot for the welfare of the masses, welfare of the subjects. So welfare measures which were taken care by the kings were. Since the time of Chandragupta, great stress was laid on the construction of roads, wells, and houses and canals. Different developmental works were done by the king just in thought of mind, so that the development or the growth of the individual can be seen. Pliny, who was a foreign traveler, when he came to India, he was again impressed by the different management system and the highways which were constructed on the east of Patliputra to the northwest of Taxila. So he was astonished by seeing such a big road construction or such a developmental process in the Mauryan dynasty. The basic reason of construction of road was, one, to help the general masses. Second was so that the movement could take place. Third was that the trade could be taken place without any barriers. Ashoka planted fruit-bearing trees on both sides of the roads for the comfort of travelers. He set up hospitals for sick and made provision for irrigation. Ashoka even planted trees on the both sides. Fruit-bearing trees. Fruit-bearing trees means the travelers who walk along the road, if they feel tired, they can sit under the tree, and if they feel hungry, they can pluck the fruits and they can eat. For the sick person, he constructed a hospital and he provided all the facilities which were required for the irrigation purpose. Since the Patliputra was situated on the bank of river, the land was very fertile, so the crop production could have been done in a better way. For that only, the king provided all the means of irrigation, which could help the general masses to produce more and more of good crops. So class will put a stop over here. If you have anything to say, if you find it any difficulty, let me know. Thank you.